So now, in order to know how did Vietnam got troubles, or the process of the establishment of independence in Vietnam, and later on how the situations have changed and why it took really 3 decades for Vietnam to establish its own independence. Now if you look at the emerging from the shadow of China, as I told you earlier, the countries like Vietnam, Cambodia and Laos are the countries which are under the shadow of China. So they started to slowly emerge out of China. When they were starting to emerging out of China, Vietnam got its independence in 1945, as we discussed earlier. After Vietnam got its independence, it was broken into north and south of China. But prior to this, before Vietnam got its independence also, we have the influence of China more on Vietnam. Vietnam, northern part of Vietnam, and the culture, the political structure, everything was governed by the ideologies, by the principles which are followed in China only. So the influence of China was more on Vietnam, especially on the northern part. But not only this, Vietnam is a land which is connected by water through various parts of the world. So Vietnam has also provided a route to have an excellent maritime trade sea route, through the sea route. It is also known as Silk Route trade. So because of the Silk Route trade, Vietnam is got a well-known or a well-reputed influence in the European countries. European countries know this nation very well because of the connectivity of the waterways. As of modern days, today we have the connectivity by air, connectivity by road. But prior to this, we have only the connectivity by water. So through the water trade, Vietnam was one of the places which was known much to the people of the European countries. So it was a period when the colonization started. It was a period when the colonies, acquiring the colonies was a main target and the task of the newly emerged developing countries of Europe, where because of industrial revolution, they need huge amount of raw materials at very less cost, and they also need a cheap supply of labor, and they also want to sell off their finished products to various long markets to earn huge profits. To satisfy all these requirements, the European countries do need certain colonies. So French was the first country to enter into Vietnam. Vietnam was first stepped in by the French troops in 1856. In 1880s, by the earlier and the middle part of the 1880s, the influence of the French was growing larger and larger day by day. The influence of the country has been going into the control of the French troops. By 1887, Tonkin, a famous city in Vietnam, in the northern part of Vietnam, has been completely occupied by the French people. So in this slow and steady process, French people were able to occupy the Vietnam and brought Vietnam into their control. So in this process, we have to understand here, does Vietnam people do have only Vietnamese population? No, it's a misconception. Vietnam, along with Vietnam, though it is well connected with water, it is also well connected with the hinterland regions through roadways. So as the roadways are well connected, the neighboring countries like Cambodia and Laos, people used to come here and move from here to the other countries. So in this process, we have a population traveling from Cambodia to Vietnam, Vietnam to Laos, Laos to Cambodia. So we also have a group of people coming from Khmer. These people belongs to Cambodia but used to stay in Vietnam. So like that, Vietnam is not having a unique population. Vietnam is also as equal to the other countries, have a combination of various groups of people living together, various nationalities of people living together. So the initial step of occupying the country or taking over the control of Vietnam was first started by the French people. So looking at the situations, slowly and steadily, people of Vietnam understood the problems which are going to across or in their face of their lives. The Vietnam people understood clearly that the situations which are going on by the occupation of the French army was completely wrong. They are not doing any kind of favor for the Vietnam people. The entire benefits are for the motherland only. In the colonial countries, motherland means the country which has occupied the other countries. So when it comes to Vietnam, the Vietnam's motherland country is French or France. So the France is getting more fruits rather than from the Vietnam. So Vietnam is not just giving a product output for France, but also getting herself like a candle. It is being melting its energy and producing the light for the French people. So one of the blind writer who has observed the situation of France during that time and who was completely dissatisfied with the situations which are going on was the famous writer Mr. Nguyen Din Chia. Nguyen Din Chiu. Nguyen Din Chiu was a well-known famous writer in our Vietnam. He used to speak the Vietnamese language. The one more special characteristic of this person is he is a blind man. So he is a well-known poet plus he is a blind man. Though he was blind, he is writing a poem depicting the situation which is happening in France during that time. What was the situation that he was depicting was, you can understand by his own words that he describes, I would rather face eternal darkness than to see the faces of trades. So in this line he want to say that he do not want to see anything in the light. He don't want anyone saying that we are going to develop the country, but in the name of saying developing the country, these people are actually spoiling the country, spoiling the population of the country, spoiling the citizens of the country. So he made it very clear that we would like to see rather eternal darkness rather than seeing some of the faces of the triads who are spoiling us, who are irritating us, who are making us to feel pain. And he also mentioned in the other line, I would rather see no man than encountering man's sufferings. She also made it very clear that you don't want to see any man rather than seeing a man who was facing problems. So the writer, though he was blind, Nguyen Din Chiu was expressing his deep regrets of what is happening to France actually. So he also told that I would be blind rather than witnessing any nation getting dismembered. So his idea of mentioning his views like this is that he already felt the pain of the Vietnamese people. He already was deeply moved by the situations which are going on. You may get a doubt. How did he come to know? Though, because he was a blind man. He might have been heard by the people discussing the things what are happening. He might have asked to the people what are their problems. So as he is a well-known person, people would obviously approach him to convey their problems to them. So in this way, he want to portray the problems which are happening in Vietnam on a very simple lines. He mentioned it that I would rather face eternal darkness rather than seeing somebody facing of the faces of the triads, and I would rather see no man than seeing a man who is suffering. He also mentioned very clearly that I would be witnessing nothing rather than witnessing any country getting dismembered by itself. These all situations reveal for us that the people are completely dissatisfied with the French rule. The Vietnamese people are facing a lot of troubles. So what are the troubles that the Vietnamese people are being facing? Before going into the next phase of understanding the Vietnamese troubles, let us have a quick recap of what happened from the emergence of the shadow of China to the occupation of the French people. First of all, the countries which fall under the shadow of China are Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. These three are located in the southeastern region and have a close connectivity with the sea. These are almost the island countries, and these having connectivity with the Indian Ocean. So they are well connected with the countries of West as well as to the European countries. So as they are well connected with the western parts, they have a trade links through the waterways and through the sea route. As they have good connectivity of waterways and sea route, they were able to have a good maritime trade. As they are having good maritime trade and the good Silk Route trade, and Vietnam is known for the trade relations. So these people have decided or had a good understanding of how is a Vietnam. So this trade links brought connection between Vietnam to the France people. So the growing of Vietnam trade has attracted the French people to make Vietnam as a colony. In Vietnam, most of the people depend on agriculture, and they have the next major crop is rubber plantation. Afterwards, they do more on trade. So they want to have good source of raw material for them at very less cost and to have a good market. So they decided to occupy some of the countries in Asia and Africa, which was a scene or a trend which is going on during that period of early part of the 19th century. So first country to initiate this process was England. Later it went on to Germany, Britain. All these countries started in a line and occupy the other countries by naming it as colonization, or they sometimes use the word as civilizing the nations also, because they consider themselves as they are well modernized and well civilized. So they want to teach that civilization skills, teach that capabilities to how to manage yourself to the other countries of Asia and African countries who are uncivilized according to them. So they also use the name like white man's burden or civilizing the other nations, whatever may be the name, but they want to literally occupy the country and use the resources for the benefit of the mother country, but rather than for their own country. So the country will be occupied by some other country and the benefits will be derived from the name of this country to the other countries. So this has been started, and French in 1856 for the first time entered into Vietnam with its troops, and by 1880s the influence of the French started to grow day by day. The northern part of Vietnam, that is by 1887, they were able to occupy one of the important key places in Vietnam, that is Tonkin. So after they occupied these all places, the situations in Vietnam started to turn completely in the opposite direction. Initially they expected that it would be benefiting for the people, that they would get more number of trade opportunities for them with the occupying the lands by the French people. But the situation is turned completely opposite. This we can understand by the writings of one of the famous poets of Vietnam, that is Nguyen Dinh Chieu. Nguyen Dinh Chieu was a blind poet. Though he was a blind poet, he was a famous poet in Vietnam. He expressed his views in the following lines: I would rather face eternal darkness rather than seeing a face of a triads who are bringing troubles for us, and I would rather see no man rather than seeing a man from suffering. I would wish to see not a person rather than seeing a person who is getting sufferings or who is getting pain, and then witnessing anything else. I would be a non-witnessed person rather than being witnessing of a nation getting dismembered. So his intention is very clear. He don't want to be a part of the system where he is not happy. He wants all the people to be happy. So that happiness has been taken away by whom? Obviously by the French people, because the French people have made Vietnam as a colony of the land. So what happened next? How did the people fought against these countries? We will find out. Hygiene, disease and everyday resistance. This subject has been a very interesting phase when it comes to Vietnam. What happened? Hygiene, disease and everyday resistance. So when I talk about hygiene, disease and everyday resistance, the French people want to build modern cities. They want to have modernization in Vietnam. So in this process of civilizing the people of Vietnamese, they have brought a new outlook in their traditional outfit. They changed them. They asked to change their hairstyles. They asked them to reduce their long hairs into short hairs. So all these things step by step, when they started to initiate the process and change them, later on they want to build huge cities, very big mansions, buildings, apartments, in order to have that modern outlook for the city. So in this process of building a modern city, they have chosen a city called Hanoi. This Hanoi has been the most important city of Vietnam, where they have built the beautiful structures. So Hanoi has two different phases. One is the modern city which was built by the French people, and the buildings are very tall, and it has been a very good well structured sewage system, means the underground drainage system, where the passage of the water also cannot be seen on the upper layers of the road. So they have completely underground drainage system, clean, well planned, well executed. So as the time passed on, the other phase, the other part of Hanoi, where the people are a common people, the traditional people of Vietnam, they rejected completely to abandon their houses and move from that place to another places, where they have the drainage canals passing through nearby to them, where they had the open drainage canals, and during the times of rains, this drainage water steps into the trees, streets and all the other places. So the situations are completely opposite. It's like two sides of the same coin in Hanoi. One place is well structured, well organized, tall buildings, highly well built mansions, structured underground drainage system, well planned roads, everything is one side, built by the French people in the process of modernization of Vietnam. The other side of Vietnam is the localites of Vietnam, traditionally coming from poor backdrop, could not enhance their housing capacities and closely living side of a drainage canal passage sewage, and this drainage water is extensively flowing. When it overflows during the rainy season, this water gets onto the streets, and even the houses of these people are being filled with the waste water or the contaminated water coming from the drainage canals. This is the actual phase. Now that's the hygiene what they have built. The French people were very well advanced and very well planned. They want clear and a hygiene state or a region where they have very good neatness, which leads to healthy atmosphere in the country. But we have the other side of the Hanoi also. Moving on to the spread of the disease. In 1903, the disease called plague hit Hanoi. So when the disease of plague was being hit Hanoi and many people were started to lose their lives, the actual cause or how does the plague spread? The researches were made and they discovered that plague spreads through rats. Plague spreads through rats. So, in order to stop the growth of the rats, the Vietnamese localites were asked to catch the rats, and if you catch rat, you will be paid for that. So, on the basis of every rat, they would be paid for that. So this was an actual step taken by the French government to stop the growth of plague and also to arrest its expansion. While the Vietnamese people are being paid to catch every rat, the people of Vietnam started to think in the other lines because it has been a source of income for them. So they started to catch the number of rats daily, but they also started to grow the number of rats. It's really a funny thing, but actually this is a really true fact which happened actually. Initially, French want to stop the growth of rats, but Vietnamese people learned that this is a source of income for them. So they started to grow rats at their houses, and sometimes they used to bring only the tails of the rats, which is mandatory for them to get their payments. So they used to cut only the tail and leave the rat open. Well, again, so that they can catch it again and again they can earn certain amount of income for that. So this kind of split ideology of the Vietnamese made the city of Hanoi not a hygiene but a plague city, because the rats do live in the drainage regions or the wastelands, and the drainage canals which are passing by the houses of the Vietnamese people are also associated with the lands which are having well structured buildings and underground well planned sewage system. So this underground sewage system acted as a well built transport system for the rats. The rats used to travel very secretly through the underground sewage pipes, and they used to go from one house to the other house comfortably and conveniently, because every house would have a sewage canal and the pipeline system was there. So through the drainage canal system in the underground, they used to enter into the houses of the rich people or the well built houses of the modernization structure. So in 1902 to 1904, the number of rats that were caught by the Vietnamese were more than 20,000. So if 20,000 rats were caught, that would obviously should result in the less or the number of rats to be diminishing. But here the number has not been diminished, because people started to grow the rats because it's a source of income for them. And the other tragic thing is, rats also learned how to manage the things because they are having well planned transport system for them. So this move of people can be considered as an everyday resistance for what the ideology of hygiene and disease eliminated regions, what the France want or what the French government want, was not liked by the people. And also why civilization, modernization, all these were being initiated by French government, but people of Vietnam strongly resisted all these things. By their moves, by their actions, by their participation in catching of the rats, at the same time in procuring the rats, in increasing the rats number, obviously made it very clear that French people failed in bringing civilization to the people, and French people also failed in getting modernization to the leap in the Vietnam. So always force do not work. The cooperation of the people also is necessary. So the cooperation of the people do not come by force or by fear. It should come by willingly participation. This is what happened in the scene of hygiene, disease and everyday resistance. So we can understand it very clearly that their people are completely opposite to the colonial masters on this issue, and it's really funny to have a rats being grown, but it's a true fact. The Vietnamese did this thing to oppose the actions of the French government, and also they are being paid for these services. So somehow French people failed to get modernization and civilization into the deep roots of Vietnam people, because it is breaking the native tradition and the culture of the Vietnamese. Religion and the anti-colonialism. Now we shall discuss about how did religion played a crucial role in making the Vietnamese to raise their voices against the colonial rule. Till that time, the Vietnamese were dissatisfied with the rule of the French, but were not in a larger uprising against this one. So with the religious point of view, the first uprising started against the colonial government. That's what we are going to discuss in this unit. The French occupied Vietnam in the basis of militarily. After occupying Vietnam militarily, now French did not occupy it on any other basis. Only by its strength it is able to occupy that one. After it occupied this one militarily, now French want to reshape their social and cultural life. According to the French people, the Vietnamese people are not civilized, or they are not having the modernization, so they have to be modernized. So the French thought that it is the prima facie responsibility of the French government to modernize this one, to modernize the colonial country and to pressurize them to convert into Christianity. That's how they started the initial process of converting the people into other religion. So what are the actual religions that are being followed in Vietnam? Actually in Vietnam they used to follow Buddhism and Confucianism. So they are habituated of following Buddhism and Confucianism, while the Christianity was introduced actually by the French. The Christianity was introduced actually by the French. So once the Christianity has been brought into the people of Vietnamese, people are slowly getting converted into Christianity, that too in Christianity Catholicism. So once they got into Catholicism, after getting attracted by the Catholicism, the Catholics do not give up anything freely or easygoing. That's why the intolerance of easygoing nature has come up into picture by the Christian missionaries. They don't want the Vietnamese to give up anything easily. They want to be stubborn. They want to be very strong and firm in making their decisions. That's how the decisions start to be this. They need to be changed their attitude. That's how the necessity of changing the attitude has come. So the scholars in 1868 started to revolt against the Vietnamese rule of French. Vietnamese were occupied by the French, but till that time we did not get any kind of major revolts which are trying to arrest the issues of colonial government to come in. But once the Christianity has been forced and the actual nature of the people are also being questioned, saying that your easygoing attitude is not at all good. You need to change your attitude. You need to recorrect yourself. So all these things made us to think again, and these scholars, those who are well educated, started to revolt against the attitude of the French people which is supporting the Christianity. The imperial court was completely dissatisfied with the growing nature of the French and the religion of Catholicism. French is going day by day up, growing its control on the people, and also Catholicism started to spread to larger number of people. And when it comes to the provinces from where it was being led from the provincial regions of Nguyen and Hatien. Nguyen and Hatien. These two regions are very, very specific and important because nearly 1,000 people are being killed from this region. When the 1,000 people are being killed from this region, it is an arresting point where these 1,000 are the Catholics who are being killed. So these Catholics, when they were being killed, it started to become a very, very tragic point for all the people. So the revolt started to come in a very, very large number. But by the time itself, from 17th century to the 18th century, when the French people stepped inside itself, the Christian missionaries also came in. They started to win the support of the people and convert themselves into Christianity. That's how slowly the conversions have been gone up to a height of nearly 3 lakh people. So there are now a good hold on the Christianity. French people also like Christianity, and also that French supports Christianity or the Catholicism. Now the fundamental question is, if French is supporting Christianity, and why the people are getting killed? And the other point is, why are they not encouraging the religions of Buddhism and Confucianism? So those who are following Buddhism and those who are following the Confucianism are easygoing people. Why are they branded like that? Why only Catholics are very stubborn and very good people when they are achieving something? Why not the other religious people are considered like this? So these all questions started to be raised up, and slowly the anti-colonial movement, which was actually the anti-religious movement, started to spread on to be an anti-colonial movement, because when French government tried to crush all these people bilaterally, the movement was been slowing down, but it inspired the patriots of the nationalism and also the other religious people to fight against the French colonial rule. The process went on like this. Once again, we'll have a quick recap of this. French occupied the Vietnam militarily. After occupying it militarily, they want to reshape the social and the cultural life of the Vietnamese. So, when it comes to social life and the cultural life, actually what is the social and the cultural life of the Vietnamese? The Vietnamese follow the religion of Buddhism and Confucianism. So, they follow that religion, they follow that culture. Slowly Christianity has been introduced into Vietnam by the support of the French and also some Christian missionaries. So once Christianity has come inside and started to move deeply into the people, now the attitude of the Vietnamese of giving up everything freely or without trying hard has become an unacceptable point for the Christian people. So the Christian missionaries actually. So this forcing the people to do something made the people to react very firmly for this. So that's how the scholars revolt came in 1868, which was the first revolt recorded against the French colonial government. The imperial court from the provinces of Nguyen and Hainan, where 1,000 Catholics were being killed in the name of the religion, and then they started to raise their voices questioning why is something being pressed on us. Why are we asked to follow something which we are not knowing for that? Though you may be ruling us, but we have our own freedoms, our own likings, our own tradition, our own culture. So that's the reason why the people start to raise their voices. There are missionaries also who are able to win the support of the people and get converted into Christianity. There are nearly 3 lakh people of Catholics who are in Vietnam during that time. So when the movement raised on, French government used her iron hand and crushed the entire revolt, resulting in the stop of the revolt, and the revolt died. But the spirit of the revolt did not die. It gave an inspiration for the patriots and also for the other religious people to raise their voices. Now, moving on to understand that the elites of Vietnam were actually the well-educated people of Vietnam. These people are able to understand what is good, what is the proper action that has to be taken, why religion should not be considered as an anti-colonial movement. That all they were able to understand. But when it comes to the peasants are having a blend of the feeling of the religions. They are syncretic. The syncretic nature of the peasants made them to understand the religions by the blend of Buddhism and Confucianism, by the blend of modernism and the traditional nature. So that's how they got the division between some people who are in support of the French, who like the Western influence to be brought in to get modernization. Some want against the Western influence because they have to bring traditional growth in the country and not to align ourselves with the West. So they need to attach themselves towards the traditional nature. We have to stick up ourselves for the traditional nature, and we need to prove ourselves. We need to make our tradition stronger, but do not adopt the Western nature. That's how they started to raise the questions. When the movement started, which was against the attitude of the Britishers, that is the Have-O movement, which was started at Mekong in the year 1939. He is also known as Huyen Phu Su. Huyen Phu Su actually does miracles and had a very great influence on the people. He doesn't speak simply something, he has some value for his words. He criticized only the useless expenditures. That too, the useless expenditures are the sale of a child, gambling, alcohol, opium. These are the main key focus points what he always want to stop from the use of the people. He criticized the people not to follow any kind of actions like selling their children, and he don't want anyone to play gambling and losing their money. He do not encourage anyone to consume alcohol or opium. So that is the reason why he is considered as a very good person, and his influence on the people was very high. So the French people who are angry with the growing influence of this Hoya Hayo or the so-called Huyen Phu Su, they decided to up down the movement because his influence will be growing on, and tomorrow he may raise his voice against the movement. So he want to stop this growing nature of this particular person's popularity. So they decided this man as he is a madman. After declaring him as a madman, he was sent to a mental asylum, and in 1941 he was asked to be certified by a doctor. The funny thing, or though it is a reality, it is a bit funny for us to understand, that is the doctor who has to certify him as a insane person, as a mentally upset person, the doctor himself became a follower of this person. He declared, finally all the doctors declared that he is a sane, he is mentally perfect, fit and fine. There is no problem in his mental attitude. He is very, very fine. The certificate was given by all the government officials, all the doctors. So the doctor who is supposed to give resigned and he joined himself as a follower. So that's how then the French government got angry and they decided to exile him out of the country by sending him in 1941 to Laos. So he was sent to Laos and finally they decided him to be there only. And he has many followers, as we discussed earlier. So they decided them to be send the followers to the concentration camps where they will be executed or staying away from the region of Vietnam, so that they will not be in a position to influence anybody else. That's what their plan was. Let us see here. Elites of the Vietnam were well educated. They sometimes prefer to have modernization. When it comes to the peasants are having a syncretic nature. Some of them are supporting it, some of them are opposing it. Some who are in support want modernization to come in. Some who are not supporting want the traditional values of Vietnam to be saved and preserved, and to train the people in their traditional values so that they can get upgraded in that particular point. But one of the moment which happened during this period was this Havo movement, which is this man in 1939 at Mekong, who is also known as Huyen Phu Su. Huyen Phu Su does miracles and he is having a large popularity in the people. So because of his popularity and the celebrity nature, he started to raise his voice against the colonial government. So once he decided to raise his voice against the colonial government, because people follow his words strongly and firmly. So when he started to criticize the government and he started to also criticize all the useless expenditures which are in regards to the sale of the children, in regards to the gambling, in regards to alcohol, or in regards to the sale of opium or consuming opium. So with this growing popularity and all, French want to overturn this revolt and shut down the momentum. So they declared this man as Huyen Phu Su is a madman, and they arrested him and imprisoned him and sent him to mental asylum. After going to mental asylum, the doctors need to be certify him that he is a mental person or he is an insane person. The doctor who is supposed to certify him himself resigned the job and joined him as a follower, and all the doctors declared him that he is a sane and he is not having any kind of mental disabilities. So angry with the nature of the doctors and with the attitude of the people, French government decided to stop the movement at any point. So they decided to exile him and send him to Laos, leaving the country. As he is having many followers, the followers are forced to send towards the concentration camps. That's how the French government started to stop the momentum rising. But though the movements have been crushed, the spirit of the movement lived and survived. That's how the spirit started to generate its higher wave and higher waves. As the movements have been crushed, the momentum of the waves is becoming higher and higher. So, the communist Vietnamese and the nationalism. How did the communism enter into Vietnam, and how did the nationalism come up finally? We have seen the various phases, the growth of the momentum, and ultimately it was a time when the momentum struck. The independence of Vietnam has been declared. So let us move on to that phase. The communism, communist movements and Vietnam nationalism. So these communist movements and the Vietnamese nationalism are very closely connected. Why are they very closely connected? Is if we understand the sequential order, we can estimate it very clearly. As we all know, after the First World War, it was a very huge loss, a great disaster what the human mankind has experienced. So after this one, the disaster happened, a lot of people lost their lives, a lot of people lost their properties, lot of people were facing lot of problems. Unemployment flourished everywhere. Because the investment of the money has been kept on the machinery, on the guns, and war is something where you keep the investment but you don't get anything back in return for it. So the investments which are diverted to keep on the war are completely been at loss. So this situation led after a decade to enter into the global depression, the Great Economic Depression. So the Great Economic Depression effect, Great Economic Depression effect felt on Vietnam in 1930. So the Vietnam started to experience the Great Economic Depression's effect. What will be the effect of Great Economic Depression? The effect of Great Economic Depression is that the value of the products will come down. The income what you are getting will be generated to half. The cost of the rice has gone down completely. The fertility of the soil has gone down completely because of these bombings and all these things. And the people who started to consume has been reduced. The unemployment started to flourish everywhere. And this unemployment forced the people to turn out from their traditional occupations to the new occupations. But there are no occupations available at that time. So this kind of problems flourished. People were forced to take loans, debts. They cannot repay back their loans. They were falling into the complete debted nature. They were completely in the clutches of the money lenders. So everybody was in trouble. This was the situation in 1930 when the situations were turned like this, and this effect was very much highly felt in the cities of Ngian and Hapathin. Ngian and Hapathin are the cities in Vietnam, where these two cities are the oldest cities, and these two cities have a very old custom and tradition. Very old custom and old traditions. So these old customs and old traditions are completely followed blindly in these two places of Vietnam. That is the reason why these two places are called as electric fuses. The electric fuses, they are rightly called as electric fuses because anything comes here, they may burst outside. They would not allow any kind of new changes which are turning towards them. They don't like to get adapted to new changes. So they want that changes to be happened by a systematic procedure. So the French people want to resist this one. They started to use the bomb demonstrators and destroy the stronghold of the Vietnamese people. They started to use their complete efforts, start to bomb those regions and destroy the places, destroy the people, break the unity of the people in order to bring change in them. So the French people used entire energy or power to destroy them, and they also used the bomb demonstrators to destroy the people in making them to get scared by showing them the bombs. So after the situations turned, looking at this time, we have a leader, the leader emerging out of the situation of the Vietnam. The leader name is none other than Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh established a political party in 1930 known as Communist Party. This is known as Vietnamese Communist Party. This is also known as, later changed as, Indochina Communist Party. So Ho Chi Minh was the main person who initiated the process of establishing a political party in 1930 and have the Vietnamese Communist Party. Later the name got modified as Indochina Communist Party. So when the situations are going like this, people start to gain momentum to fight against the colonial masters. But in 1940 the situation turned completely reverse. In 1940 Japan occupied Hanoi. This Hanoi was actually the Vietnam. In their drive, in order to prove that in Southeast Asia they were able to capture many regions. The Japanese people wanted to hold a land on this region, so they occupied the Vietnam land, Hanoi. And after they occupied this place, now the Vietnamese people have to fight with Japanese people and the French people. The Vietnamese people started to fight with both the people, and ultimately they were able to defeat the Japanese and the French people and gain the freedom and independence for them by establishing Communist Party into rule. They established the Republic of Vietnam in September 1945. So with this, the struggle and the dreams of all the Vietnamese people came true. That happened on September 1945. We have the establishment of Democratic Republic of Vietnam, and the chairman of the party was Ho Chi Minh. This was the awaited story of Vietnam. So, the Great Economic Depression showed its effect, showed its impact on Vietnam also. So, Vietnam also was left out from the influence of Great Economic Depression. With the Great Economic Depressions, the standard of living of the people has come down. The economic situation has been turned completely down. The value of the rice, the production of the rubber, the production of the teak, everything has come down. People turned to be unemployed, got completely into the debtedness. Money lenders started to lend money, but people were not able to repay back the loan. This is situated in a very complete economic drain of Vietnam. So when the situations are turning like this, Ho Chi Minh looked like a light for the people in the darkness. He started a communist party in Vietnam. He named it as Vietnamese Communist Party. Later on, the name was being changed into Indochina Communist Party. So after he started the party, and it was very influential, many people started to get associated with his party, and later on the leaders were able to influence the people. At that moment of time, when the Second World War was in progress, Japan wanted to showcase its drive on the Southeast Asia, so they moved on and they occupied the Hanoi region of Vietnam. So now the Japanese and the French people have to be driven out of Vietnam in order to get independence. So the Vietnamese people did a huge struggle to defeat them, and finally they were successful. In September 1945, they established the Republic of Vietnam. But are they able to have happy independence after they got this republic structure or independence after fighting for a long freedom struggle? After 1945 also, it took nearly 30 years for them to establish complete freedom. What happened next? We will check it. So now, the second most important key development was the dilemma of education. When I use the word called dilemma here, dilemma means where you are confused. What has to be done? What action has to be taken? Whether we should go towards the left or towards the right. When you are confused like this, that kind of state is called as dilemma. The dilemma of education in Vietnam. When we talk about the dilemma of education in Vietnam, what is the problem of education in Vietnam? Let us take the first basic requirement of the colonial master. We all know the colonial master was French, or France, language is French. So French people want labor. Labor also, which kind of labor they want? Educated labor. The educated labor at very less cost they want. So if you give the French education to the Vietnamese people, the Vietnam people will learn French, and once if they learn French, they may read the books of French Revolution, they may get the ideology of understanding of the outlook of the world. So that would be resulting in growing of the anti-colonial movements and would obviously put away French from there. So the question is whether we have to introduce the French education or not. Second major factor is, in Vietnam the influence of the China is more. The traditional way, the primary dressing style, the language skills, all these things are influenced more by Chinese people. So in order to dismantle China's influence, we need to break Vietnam's traditional backdrop and bring modern development for them. If you want to bring modern development for Vietnam, it is compulsory and mandatory to introduce a new language through which a new culture, new system, new traditions have to be taught for them. So if you want to introduce, there is a possibility of getting Vietnam people learning French very well and would be obstructing, or tomorrow they may raise a national movement against the colonial masters. If you do not educate them on the new language, new culture, new tradition, the influence of China, which has been traditionally there from hundreds of years, would be troubling the French people in the day-to-day administration to rule them. So what is the solution for this? This situation is appropriately described as a dilemma of education. Whether we should give education for them or not, or whether we should stop educating them in French. Why the people are started to thinking about educating the people? Because the initial motto of the European countries is to civilize other countries. Civilizing mission. What is a civilizing mission? The civilizing mission is a process of educating, nurturing, developing the Asia and the African countries by the European countries. It is also known as white man's policy. Later turned as burden. So, as Britishers have civilized the Indians in the history, what we have discussed earlier, in the same manner, the French people also want to civilize the Vietnamese people, want to dismantle the existing traditional barriers and want to bring them to educate to a new language, new culture, new traditions, and at the same time, they had many issues that has to be addressed very seriously. So the dilemma and their mission of civilizing them. So when you introduce a new religion, when you introduce a new concept, when you introduce a new dressing style and all, at the cost of dismantling the original existing native cultures, what would be the native culture stand? Obviously the native culture people would resist that, but these people are strongly intended to change the old fragmentic tradition because that is an outdated policy. The native style, what is one being followed by the Vietnamese people, is an outdated one. They have to switch on to the new modern developments. So it's compulsory for them to learn and to understand the modern technology, modern understanding, modern way of dressing, modern way of combing their hairs. All these things have to be understood. So this is the main ideology. Now moving on from the dilemma of education to the steps taken by the French government. French government decided to give education to all the people in the Vietnam to break the influence of China, to break the barriers between the China getting connected to the Vietnamese. So to have a new look for Vietnam, French has been introduced to the people of Vietnam. But if French is introduced to the Vietnam people, as Vietnam people are very new to the language, they would not be able to understand anything. So in the primary sections, like up to grade 5, they decided to give education in the Vietnamese language. In the higher schools, they would be providing education in the French language. So you may get a doubt. Oh, obviously the initial fear what the French people were afraid, like though we are civilizing them, they are not ready to give the French citizenship or not ready to have the Vietnamese people fighting for the revolt or independence struggles, because they should not get educated to the French Revolution movements or any other revolutions in the world. So the initial fear of people getting more knowledge about the French would obviously result in the destruction of the French rule. And the other major factor what would be affecting for them is that the people, those who came from France and settled here as a teachers, workers, accountants and various other jobs because of their language proficiency of French. Now there is a fear for them that they may also lose their jobs. So checking out these possibilities, the French governance or government decided to have primary education in Vietnam language and the higher education in the French language. But in 1725, out of 17 million people, sorry, in 1825, out of 17 million people who have registered, only 400 people have been qualified by grade 10 or have been given the certificate of passing from the higher classes. This means that the exams are being made very tough and they were forced to get failed because they do not get any kind of jobs because they are not living out of the school. And there is no possibility of these people getting jobs because they already failed. And there is no threat for the jobs who came from France and settled here as the teachers, accountants or any other jobs. That's the first major possibility and the action plan what they have implemented. The second one is up to grade 5 when they were teaching the Vietnamese language. So they would not be proficient not only in the Vietnamese language but also when they are getting initial advantages of French language. Whoever gets qualified will be given the French citizenship. So they do not want to give citizenship for everybody. So they restricted the number to very less number. So all these efforts were made by the French people in order to arrest the growth of Vietnamese, but on the brand name of civilizing the people. The vision of modernization. After looking at the anti-religious movement, the momentum of religion going against the anti-colonial levels, we have discussed how religion has been a base to raise their voices against the French colonial rule. Now we shall see how did the concept of modernization has come into existence in Vietnam. Most of the people have a larger doubt in most of the colonial countries that is modernization meaning that we need to reject the past traditional cultures what we are holding, and why should we look at the West always as a symbol of modernization? The same questions have come here also. The same questions are put in this way. What was it to be modern? What was it to be a nationalist? According to the Vietnamese people, are we not civilized people? Are we not modern people? We do not follow anything which is practical and good. That is what the question, fundamental question which was in the minds of the people. And in order to answer this question, it is a very, very complicated question. It is very difficult to get conclusion for this one because always we have people arguing in the for and also against. So when people are arguing for and for against, that means that there is a division in the people. So that's how the people are divided into some having a positive attitude towards that while the others have the negative attitude towards that. And moving on to understand the momentum, how it went on. The momentum went on like this. One of the famous person who was belonging to the Confucianism, his name is Pan Bo Chao. Pan Bo Chao was very, very famous in China during that period in 1903 as well as in Vietnam because he was influenced by the Chinese people, especially the Chinese person named Liang Qichao. Liang Qichao's influence was more on Fan Bo Chao, but Fan Bo Chao himself has started a reform society under the head of Prince Quang Di. Prince Quang Di will be the head of the reform society in 1903, which was actually the idea of Pan Bo Choi, which means that he want to fight against the colonial rule. So in order to get the entire control of the people to understand what are the practical problems that we are facing, he went personally and met Qichao Liang at Oklahoma in 1905. This Oklahoma in 1905 means it is nearby in China. So he went there and he discussed with him there. He brought some ideology from him and then he wrote a book called The History of the Loss of Vietnam. In the book of History of the Loss of Vietnam, he clearly stresses on 2 points. The 2 points are the loss of the sovereignty of Vietnam and also the loss of the ties with China. So when the two countries were following the same culture and same identity and same system, when there is a loss of connectivity between those two, the bondingness between those two has become weak and weak. That's what he highlighted, and this book was the most famous book read in the Vietnam and it is largely sold in Vietnam. He also made fan laminates, which means that a typical traditional elite. He want to upgrade the traditional elites also towards come and fight against the colonial rule. So before going into modernization, every country would have a question when it is occupied by some of the countries of the West, that what is the culture that we are following is not modern culture, or what is spirit that we are having is not national spirit. The same questions have been put here, that is, what was it to be a modern, what was it to be a nationalist. And modern had some people getting its support that yes, we need to look at the West to get the modernization attitudes and to understand the West to become modern, while the people, those who are not supporting the West, became to be called as traditionalists, who decided that it is not necessary to look at the West always, our tradition is more valuable and great when compared to the West. That's how the society got split, and there are some people who are supporting it, there are some people who are negativity of this attitude. So it is very difficult question to answer this one. So what of the momentum which got raised after this was the momentum which was started by Pan Bo Chai, who was a follower of Confucianism religion, and he started a society called Reform Society, and the Reform Society was headed by Prince Kuang Di, the head of the Reform Society in 1903, which made him very popular. And he also met personally Quichao in Yokohama, and in 1905, after getting his ideology and his inspiration, he wrote a book called The History of the Loss of the Vietnam. The history of the loss of the Vietnam explicitly deals with two main points of agenda. One is the loss of sovereignty, the other one is the ties with China. So when two countries are following the same culture and same identity, but they were not bonding by themselves because of the different countries are ruling them, or because of the colonial nature, they lost the ties. That is a big disaster for both the countries, because they can't exchange their views, they can't express their allied ideologies from one corner to the other. That's how it started to become very difficult for them. Later, Pan laminates were also being written by him, and laminates, the typical traditional allied group, was also started to come out. And then now we will see the person who is controversy with the ideology of Phan Bo Chai. Phan Bo Chai was having one set of ideology. He started a society. There are others also who oppose the ideology of Phan Bo Chai and who are completely opposite to the ideology of Phan Bo Chai. He want to eradicate French colonial government from here. So his agenda is that we need to question the colonial rulers, what is actually happening here. Let us see what is the other views of the other Phan. Now, the person who raised his voice and completely different, though being a traditional follower and want to oppose the rule of the French government, but he supported some of the ideals of the French colonial government. So as we have seen in the previous part of the lesson, that Phan Bo Chai started a reform society by having Prince Kuang Di as the head of the society, which means he brought the monarchy into existence. He want to take the support of the monarch, have a monarch, and then fight against the French colonial rule by having monarchy, which means indirectly he is supporting to have monarchical type of government or monarchic form of government. But when it comes to here, the views of Phan Chu Trinh are different. He is against the views of democratic satire, because he did not want to have any kind of king to be ruled further. He want a democratic republic to be set. That's why he supported always the ideology of the West. According to him, the West has to be followed. But his point of question is, why liberty has been claimed in the French Revolution but not been followed by the people or the French government in Vietnam? Why are they not implementing liberty in Vietnam? But they claim that it is their libertic attitude, that they are training the people, they are civilizing us. Why are they actually not giving liberty for us? And he also questions the French government, saying that why legal and educational institutions and industries are not set up in Vietnam to educate the people of Vietnam. What is the actual civilization you are telling? That the word saying by civilizing the people, you are not at all bringing anything into reality. You are just forcing us to follow a new religion. Other than that, you are not at all giving any kind of education or any kind of training or any kind of legal studies or any kind of libertic attitudes for us, or making us to be modern, to be free, independent and think in a different way. That's so we started a voice raising against the views of Phan Boi Choi. So Phan Boi Choi views were supporting monarchy, and he never said that he want democratic republic. He went to the people, he wrote in a book also that the Vietnam is losing its sovereignty, but he never explained any view like we need to have liberty, we need to have freedom, we need to have educational system, we need to develop our democratic republic attitude, we need to fight against the monarchy, and also we need to dream of establishing a democratic government. That's how the controversy views started to be exploited outside by the people of different groups.